Welcome to Before Floor, the pregame edition of Five on the Floor, brought to you by the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo. Today, I'm joined by two of the smartest guys on the network, Mr. Mateo Mayorga and Mr. Marco Romo. Make sure you follow the guys. They got their Twitter handles right down there. As always, if you guys, if you're driving home, make sure you guys, of course, get home safe. And if you guys are in a safe spot, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe as well. And if you guys are a Heat fan and you're young and with a family, you want to make sure that all your assets are taken care of, you want to make sure you go to markbrownpa.com, right? He's going to take care of all your assets if something happens to you in this crazy world. So like I said, give him a call, 954-866-8513, or visit his website at marcbrownpa.com. What he's going to do, he's going to take care of all your assets. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he'll give you a free consultation. That's the best part about it. He's located in the South Florida area, pretty much services the entire area. And like I said, he's a Heat fan, so make sure you give your business to a Heat fan and not some Celtics fan or a Lakers fan or anything like that. So like I said, give him a call, 954-866-8513, or reach out to him, marcbrownpa.com. Now, every single day, we play our prize picks. Marco Romo is like 99% on these prize picks, man. But you want to make sure you maximize your money, right? It's daily fantasy. You just pick a player. You pick if they'll go over or under on points, rebounds, assists. We keep it really simple here on the 5 Reasons pregame show. You want to maximize your money, right? So make sure you use the promo code 5. We'll match your deposit up to $100. So that way, whenever you do play, you're playing with free money. So like I said, go to prizepicks.com, use that promo code 5. And like I said, we will match your deposit up to $100. Guys, today we're playing against the Chicago Bulls, who last year were one of the better teams, at least throughout the course of the regular season. But this year they seem to be struggling a little bit more. And this is a time where Miami is actually hitting their stride, right? Coming off of one of the best road game stretches in a long time. I think Anthony Chang posted this, that going this 4-0 road stretch, we haven't done something like this since like the 13 Miami Heat. So it's been a while since we had a good road trip like that. So definitely want to give props to the team and getting back over 500, which is something that our team has really struggled to do. But now we're sitting on the 7th seed. We're a couple games out of the 4 seed right now in that top 4 seeding. And really, everybody has been kind of struggling in the Eastern Conference. So it's in a really weird spot right now. But I want to talk about what this team has been doing right lately, because there has been, a couple of common themes throughout these wins. And Marco, I want to go to you on this one. Where do you feel like the common themes are happening, and what do you feel like in these 4 wins that we can continue to use and build on moving forward?
Honestly, it's the defense. I know Jimmy Butler doesn't want to hear it because he says the defense is the problem. Defense has been the key to them winning games the past in this game winning streak right now, and it's mostly about getting teams out of the paint. Outside of that Oklahoma City game, where Oklahoma City was in the paint for pretty much the whole game, they did a good job the whole road trip of keeping teams out of there, which has been their MO since Eric Spoelstra really gotten to be the head coach. So honestly, it's been the defense. The offense has done enough. That Oklahoma City win, again, it was the offense that bailed them out, which was them setting a record for 3-pointers. Last year, I feel like they set a record for 3-pointers almost every other game. This year, it's a little rarer. So the offense hasn't been doing too much. It's been doing enough. Now at home, role players play better at home. So hopefully, Max and guys like that start hitting their shots again. And really, it's going to come down to the defense again tonight, because I don't think the Bulls have enough defensively on their end to keep Miami out of the paint. I think Bam should live at the paint tonight, and hopefully that carries over to a win again.
Now, defensively, right, Mateo, Caleb Martin is one of your favorite players. He's not going to be active tonight. Neither is Kyle Lowry. I want to talk about where is the Heat going to be able to make up for those margins, right? Because, of course, we know that outside of Jimmy Butler, the best point of attack defender for us is Caleb Martin, right? He's the guy that you can stick on the top of the zone, stick on their point guard, or pretty much anybody 1 through 3 or 1 through 4, depending on how big that floor is, even though we play him at the 4, which I don't think we should. But that's not here nor there. But he is, like I said, probably one of the better defenders on the team, especially when it comes to point of attack. And also, not having him and Kyle Lowry, we're going to be lacking a little bit of that as well when it comes to the creation. But where is Miami going to be able to make up on that defensively and as well as offensively on the creation side?
Well, I think early on in this game, Jonathan, you're going to see likely the point hero looking to get Bam Adebayo involved from the start of this game. Usually when that happens, it means he's going to have a big night in the box score. You want to take advantage later on of what Tyler's been giving you on the road. He had the game winner in Oklahoma City, followed by 41 points on 65% shooting, then 21 points in Mexico City. Not the most efficient night, but he hit some timely buckets. On the defensive end of the court, you're going to need Jimmy Butler to give you a virtuoso performance. The Chicago Bulls, despite all of their troubles at 11 and 18, are still putting up 114 points per game over their last 4 games. They're going to need Jimmy Butler to bother either DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine when they're coming off the corner of screens in the mid-range. He needs to take away that area so they also don't have room to drive into the lane. It's going to require also every other player on the floor to actively screen, because you want to create mismatches without your starting point guard to create easier opportunities to score closer to the lane. So the Heat should have enough to pull this one off, because the Chicago Bulls are not a very good team, John.
No, I agree with you 100%. And to your point, Mateo, let's build off of this. I want to talk a little bit more about the Chicago Bulls, Marco. I mean, let's just talk about this one number. For the Bulls to average 113 points a game and that to be the 15th most in the league, we're in a different level of scoring than we were like 10, 15 years ago. Let's just acknowledge that. But like you said, Mateo, they're scoring decently well, right? They're 15th in the league, 113 a game. They're pretty much average everywhere. They're between 10 and 20 in almost every single category. And Marco, so I want you to talk about what have they not been doing? Because obviously there's a lot of disparity in the front office with Zach LaVine and everything. But what's happened to the Chicago team as for why they're not playing as well as they were last year?
Outside of the defense, which again, I watched them a good amount the past couple of weeks. For some reason, I don't know. I caught myself watching a bunch of Bulls games. Is their disconnect on defense kind of bleeds into their offense, which is funny enough, some problems that Miami had early in the season, where it kind of just snowballs into like a big hectic kind of cluster F of everything just going wrong. So honestly, I'm honestly impressed that they're still that high offensively, because sometimes they're prone to these really long droughts of kind of isolation. That's not including DeMar. Like DeMar's a good isolation player, but sometimes Zach dribbles the heck out of that ball and he's like not doing anything with it because he doesn't have that same burst that he used to have. So it can be that, and that kind of bleeds over into their defense, which again is just terrible. And it's really a season from hell for those guys, because everybody seems to hate each other, and it shows on the court. It's a real disconnect of who's really going to have the ball, is it going to be DeMar's night, Zach's night? Again, that article came out today that really didn't say much, but the fact that it came out at all says a lot to me. They do miss a table setter like Lonzo Ball, but he's not going to be the savior for them. He's not going to be, the guy to come rescue their season. So it's really a whole mess over there.
Yeah, they have a really interesting build, and they're looking to blow it up. Supposedly, that could be a potential option. I mean, I'm not sure what they would want to do, because it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to compete for a championship this year with what they have. So, I mean, quick question: would you blow it up, Marco, or what do you think the best idea for Chicago to do is?
They can't blow it up is the thing. All their picks are to other teams, except for this year. I think they do have their pick this year. They're kind of stuck in the middle. This is like mediocrity that teams really don't want to be in. So honestly, I don't think they have much of a choice but to maybe acquire some assets for some guys that they acquired, like Vucevic and Zach LaVine, to kind of replenish the picks. Other than that, I really don't know what they're going to do. They're going to be a sellers at the deadline if they don't turn it around.
Wonder if anybody would be on sale for Miami. But let's get on to some of those dangerous guys. For some of those dangerous guys, Mateo, over the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks specifically, right? DeMar DeRozan's averaging 27.3. Zach LaVine is averaging 21 points per game, even. Like I said, over the last 2 weeks. Of those two guys, which one worries you the most?
DeMarvelous DeRozan. He's a more polished post player. He creates separation with his back to the basket and pivoting with his feet. He can really abuse even players his size. But what I really love about DeMar is that he gets to the free throw line twice as much, or nearly twice as much, as Zach LaVine. He's a very intelligent offensive player. He's gotten to be that in his veteran stage of his career, but I really like him as an isolation player that you can give him the ball to when the offense isn't working, when you can't get the pass to the middle or to the wings because the defense is just overwhelming the lane. So I really like him in this regard. He's one of my favorite players because I really admire mid-range masters. So he's my guy.
I know you do like that mid-range game. But let's get into the rapid fire prize picks. Marco, we're going to start with you for the prize picks, my man. We're going to go with a couple here since there's just a couple of us. So let's get into this. And let me actually share my screen real quick so that way everybody can see what's going on here. Bang. All right. Do we have any Miami players on the board?
Let's
It
see.
doesn't seem like there's any Heat players on the board today, which is crazy.
That injury report really scared him.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Butler
there
was
is
probable.
no Miami Heat players on the board. You can see this live since you're watching with us right now. Okay, so they have some Chicago players. So let's start with DeMar DeRozan. Marco, do you like the 25 points? Are you going over on that? Or are you going under on that?
And DeMar's been, he's been steady all year. I'm going to go under because I think the Heat are going to focus in on him. Like I said last time, the Eric Spoelstra teams love kind of focusing on one guy and taking him away and making everybody else beat them. It's very Bill Belichickian. Eric Spoelstra's always loved to kind of take away your best weapon and kind of force everybody else to do something. So I honestly take the under, and that's no knock on DeMar's game. It's just that's how Eric Spoelstra likes to play defense.
Yep, no, like you said, he likes to cut the head off of the snake. Moving on to Nikola Vucevic, Mateo, he's at 10 rebounds. What do you feel about that rebound number?
I think he's going to go over that. He's someone on the defensive end of the court who doesn't try to come out to the perimeter at all. He's someone who, when the opponent attacks him pick and roll, he prefers to go to the drop coverage, and he's usually closer to the basket off a miss. So I would suggest going over on this one, Jonathan.
So Zach LaVine, I'm actually curious to see what his season turnover numbers are because they have him at 2.5 turnovers. Right now, he is averaging 2.6 on the season. Marco, do you like the over on the 2.5 or you like the under on the 2.5 turnovers for Zach LaVine?
Give me over, and I'm going to get Victor Oladipo with like 3 of them. Maybe Haywood Highsmith's going to contribute to one of them, but I feel like Miami's going to make them it's going to make hell for those guys tonight. It's going to be mostly on the wings. They're not going to care about anybody else besides those two and just kind of force them to make passes. I trust DeMar more with the ball in his hands to make a good read. Zach, he can make good reads, but honestly, Miami's defense has forced even good guys that are good at offense to assist the turnover ratio, like Tyrese Halliburton, to turn over the ball. So a guy like Zach LaVine, yeah, give me the over.
Also, Prize Picks has his projected turnovers listed twice. So if anybody's watching that and that's still there and you can lock that in, I mean, you can double your money with 2.5 turnovers twice. So that's our 4 picks. We got DeMar DeRozan over to 2.5 points or 2.5 rebounds. I'm sorry, 2.5 turnovers for Zach LaVine. And then for Vucevic, we got over 10 rebounds. For DeMar, we got less than 25.5 points. Boys, let's get into our predictions. Mateo, I'll start with you. What are you feeling about this game?
I'm going to go with the Heat win. I think the Heat have enough with the guys available, despite not having Kyle and Caleb. But the Chicago Bulls, to Marco's earlier point, are having the season from hell because they haven't had their starting point guard all year, Lonzo Ball. And I don't think we're going to see much organization in the half court. They're not going to have the transition opportunities to score without a defender in front of them on the fast break. So I think Miami is going to just overwhelm them tonight. Like Marco also mentioned earlier, the defense has been great. And adding on to that point, over their 4-game win streak, they have held opponents to 99 points per game on average. So Miami Heat win.
I like it. Marco, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think Miami's going to have that opening night game on their heads as well. They're going to be like, we're not going to get embarrassed like that again. They had a pretty decent lead throughout that whole game up until that middle of the third quarter. So I think they're going to clean up a lot of that stuff. Jimmy's going to take a Pepto-Bismol tablet, everything. They should be fine. I expect a decent win. I don't think they'll blow them out because Miami hasn't really had many blowouts all year. They had their first double-digit win last night in like a month almost. So hopefully that ball keeps rolling. I think around a 6 to 8 point win again. Hopefully, everybody stays connected. Hopefully Jimmy plays and hopefully, stop eating crickets, man. But honestly, I'm going to defend crickets in Mexico City. That's not the worst thing you could eat there. As a person from Mexico, there's a lot worse things. You can eat a seemingly harmless sandwich over there, and that stuff will mess you up. Trust me. So don't blame the crickets, everybody.
Yeah, definitely not. They're actually pretty good, low key. But I'm going to take Miami as well. I think that, like you said, there's just too much disconnect on the Chicago side. I think Miami has a lot of momentum, which is something we haven't had all season long. And for us to finally have a little bit of momentum, I feel like we're having that belief, like, okay, we can be a little bit more than just a bottom of the barrel playoff team, right? We can be a little bit more than that. We can fight for that, getting that top 4 seed, right? We can really try to get in that, keep that in our periscope right now. So I think Miami gets the win. I think we continue that streak going. I think get to 5 in a row. And I think we get the dub. So like I said, make sure you guys use that promo code 5. And that you'll double your deposit up to $100 for Prize Picks. And then go to markbrownpa.com or give them a call, 954-866-8513. And Manny will take you away with